I still remember the first day I met Adam Turner, though at the time he was just the new intern from Ohio State. My name is Emily Harrison, and back then I was the project manager for Pinebrook Technologies, a mid-sized software company in Denver. I had been there for 7 years, long enough to understand how interns usually behaved, half nervous, half confident, but always eager to impress in the loudest ways possible. They talked too much, asked too many questions, and wore determination like a badge on their sleeve. But Adam, he was different from the start. He arrived early on a Monday morning in mid-June, quiet, polite, with a backpack that looked too worn for someone his age. He didn't try to impress anyone. He didn't brag or over-explain when someone asked what he studied. He simply listened, nodded, and took notes like it all mattered deeply. I liked that about him. In a company full of voices trying to be heard, he was comfortable being silent. Most interns tried too hard. Adam tried hard in a completely different way. The first week passed without him drawing attention. He simply did his tasks, asked thoughtful questions, and stayed later than he needed to, not to show off, but because he genuinely wanted to get things right. There was a humility about him that made people wonder what his story was, though he never volunteered it. The turning point began on a Thursday morning during one of our planning meetings. We had a major deadline approaching, a government contract proposal worth millions. If we won the bid, we would secure long-term stability for the entire department. If we failed, well, no one wanted to think about that. Our director, Mr. Thompson, assigned responsibilities. The workload was enormous, the timeline unforgiving. Everyone groaned internally, though no one dared show it. But Adam didn't flinch. He simply wrote everything down as if the challenge energized him. Later that afternoon, I found him by the printer, quietly organizing a stack of documents. First big project? I asked. He nodded. Yeah, I really want to do well. You're already doing well, I told him, and he smiled, just a quick curve of the mouth, like he wasn't used to compliments. That was when I noticed the shadows under his eyes. He looked tired, more tired than an intern during week 1 should look. I almost asked about it but decided not to pry. That evening, everyone left around 6. I stayed late to review some financial reports. Nearly 2 hours later, I noticed a soft light glowing from the intern's room. Curious, I walked over and found Adam still at his desk, fully absorbed in a spreadsheet like the world revolved around that single document. Adam, I asked gently, it's after 8. He startled a little and took out his earbuds. Oh, I didn't realize. Sorry, no need to apologize, but you should go home. You've worked enough today. I'm almost done, he said with a hopeful shrug. I can finish this section. Finish it tomorrow, I insisted. No one expects interns to stay late. Before I could say more, his laptop battery icon flashed red. He looked embarrassed, as if even the tiny inconvenience was somehow his fault. Seriously, I said kindly. Go home, rest. You'll do better with sleep. For a moment, he hesitated as if weighing something. Then he packed up quietly and left. I didn't know it then, but that moment meant more than I realized. The next morning, he walked in before sunrise. I arrived at 7:30 and found him already typing furiously, coffee untouched beside him. His determination struck me again, but so did something else, a heaviness, almost like he carried something invisible. Throughout the next few weeks, he became known around the office as the reliable intern. Not the smartest, not the loudest, but the one you could count on. He stayed late, came early, and always maintained the same quiet humility. Still, I knew something was going on beneath the surface. The real turning point came the night before our proposal deadline. We were all preparing for an exhausting night, ordering pizzas, setting up the conference room, spinning our chairs like we were ready for battle. Everyone expected a late shift, but none of us expected what Adam ended up doing. At around 9, most of the senior members went out to stretch. I headed to the lobby to get some fresh air and noticed Adam sitting on the floor near the vending machine. His head rested against the wall, and for a second, I thought he had fallen asleep. When I stepped closer, I realized he wasn't asleep. He looked overwhelmed. Hey, I said softly. You okay? He straightened instantly. Yes, sorry, just thinking through something. You've been working incredibly hard. Take a break. He shook his head. I'm fine. I just need a minute. But he didn't look fine. Before I could gently press him for more, he stood and went back to work. Something in me knew not to push too hard. Everyone has their boundaries. Hours passed. Midnight came and went. One by one, people left after finishing their parts, leaving only a skeleton crew. By 2 a.m., it was just me, one IT engineer, and, of course, Adam. He refused to stop. I left around 3. Before leaving, I walked over to him and placed a bottle of water next to his keyboard. Don't stay too long, I said. Please. He nodded, but I knew he wouldn't listen. The next morning, I arrived at 8, expecting to find the office empty and quiet. Instead, I found the lights still on. And Adam was still there. He was at the same desk. Same clothes. Same spreadsheet open. The sun was rising behind him, painting gold along his exhausted face. His fingers trembled slightly as he typed. His hair was messy, and his eyes were glassy with lack of sleep. Adam, I whispered, stunned. Did you go home? He looked up slowly, almost apologetically. I wanted to finish everything. You worked all night. He nodded like it was nothing. In that moment, something in me tightened, like a thread pulled too hard. It wasn't pride, it was worry, deep, genuine worry. You can't do that, I said, trying to stay calm. That's not safe. Why didn't you tell someone you were struggling with the workload? I wasn't struggling, he said quietly. I didn't want to mess anything up. I really need this internship to work out. Adam, your health matters more than any internship. He stared down at his hands. Maybe, but this opportunity means a lot to me. More than you know. I crouched beside him. Then tell me. Help me understand. He swallowed hard, and for a second, I thought he wouldn't tell me anything at all. Then he exhaled. My mom's the only family I have, he began softly. She's been sick for a while, and I'm helping with her medical bills. I got this internship because it comes with a scholarship for the final year of my degree. If I perform well, I get the scholarship. But if I don't, his voice trailed off. Suddenly, his exhaustion, his silence, his relentless dedication, everything made sense. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was trying to survive. Adam, I whispered, why didn't you ask for help? I didn't want pity, he said. I just wanted to prove I could do this. My heart ached, not because he had stayed all night, but because he believed he had to hide his struggle to be accepted. What he didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that the moment the team walked in that morning, everything changed. People stared, shocked. Some whispered, others looked at him with admiration. But no one judged him. When the director arrived, he looked at Adam's completed work, reviewed the accuracy, and turned to him with a rare softness in his eyes. You didn't have to do this, he said. I wanted to give my best, Adam replied. Later that afternoon, after everyone had time to process, the director emailed the entire department announcing that the proposal was finished ahead of schedule and that Adam's work had been instrumental and beyond exceptional. Even that word, exceptional, didn't feel like enough. But the true moment came when the HR director called Adam into her office. I waited nearby, nervous and curious, and when he came out, his eyes were glassy again, but this time not from exhaustion. They gave me the scholarship, he said, stunned. They weren't supposed to decide until the end of the internship, but they said dedication like mine deserved support. I felt tears prick the back of my eyes. You earned it, I said. Every bit of it. From that day forward, everything about him changed. Not his humility, not his quiet strength, but the heaviness he carried. It lifted. He became more confident, more vocal, more willing to ask for help when he needed it. His life didn't magically become easy, but it became lighter. He finished the internship with top evaluations from every supervisor. Years later, long after he graduated and built a career, he came back to visit. He was taller somehow, or maybe just stronger in presence. He thanked us, but especially me, for seeing him when he felt invisible. I told him the truth, that he had done that part on his own. Sometimes dedication is mistaken for ambition. But in Adam's case, it was survival. And sometimes the people who work the hardest are the ones carrying burdens no one sees. His story became a reminder in our office. A reminder to check on the quiet ones. A reminder that strength comes in many forms. A reminder that sometimes the most inspiring people are the ones who aren't trying to inspire anyone at all. And every time I see an intern walk through the door, nervous and hopeful, I think of Adam and the night he gave everything he had. Not because he wanted recognition, but because he believed he had no other choice. He changed us. He changed me. And the story of the intern who worked all night became something we told new hires, not as a legend, but as a lesson in compassion, understanding, and the quiet power of resilience.